Russia and Ukraine exchanged 205 prisoners of war on Friday, hours after rescue workers ended their search of a destroyed block of flats in Kyiv, in which 24 people were killed, including 3 girls. Most of the Ukrainian prisoners had been held since 2022, said President Zelensky.
US President Donald Trump has said he has made no commitment either way on Taiwan during talks with China's President Xi Jinping on the flight back to Washington after the 2-day summit in Beijing. Trump told reporters the pair had talked a lot about Taiwan, a self-governing island, which China claims as part of its territory and has not ruled out taking by force. The United Arab Emirates and India have signed pacts on defence, energy and shipping during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Gulf state on Friday, as both countries seek to deepen their relationship amid heightened tensions between Abu Dhabi and Tehran. The agreements were signed on Friday during a meeting between India's Modi and UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi, the latest in a series of steps to strengthen ties between the two countries.
President Trump and a delegation of US officials left Beijing on Friday after 2 days of high-level talks with the Chinese government, led by President Xi Jinping. Before boarding Air Force One, White House staffers and reporters had to surrender various items collected during the trip, including staff burner phones, credential badges, and lapel pins issued by China. Those travelling on Air Force One threw those objects in a bin at the bottom of the plane stairs, according to a journalist in the White House press pool. The largest electrical grid in the US, the PJM interconnection, saw prices nearly double over the last year, according to a report published yesterday by an independent monitor. The culprit? Data centres. Wholesale prices for 1 megawatt-hour of electricity rose to 136.53 cents, up from 77.78 at the same time last year. Crane's Chicago business was first to report on the spike. Monitoring Analytics, the independent market monitor that serves as a sort of watchdog for the PJM grid, pointed the finger at data centers and PJM's failure to handle their surging demand adequately.
On Friday, OpenAI launched a new set of personal finance tools in preview for ChatGPT Pro subscribers in the US, letting them connect their accounts and ask questions ranging from spending analysis to future financial planning. OpenAI has partnered with the financial connection service Plaid to manage the account connections. Users can connect to over 12,000 financial institutions, including Schwab, Fidelity, Chase, Robinhood, American Express, and Capital One. Once users connect these accounts, they will see a dashboard of their portfolio performance, spending, subscriptions, and upcoming payments.
PAC-EV has introduced the Volt Shark and Volt Shark X electric motorcycles at the Pakistan EV Expo to 2026 as the company expands its lineup of lower-cost electric two-wheelers. According to PAC-EV, both motorcycles are locally manufactured and aimed at daily commuting and affordable urban transportation. The Volt Shark is the lower-priced model with an estimated price of Rs. $270,000, while the Volt Shark X is expected to cost around $370,000. PAC-EV claims the Volt Shark offers a driving range of up to 100 kilometers, while the Volt Shark X is expected to deliver a claimed range of up to 150 kilometers on a full charge.
Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar said on Friday that 11 Pakistanis and 20 Iranians aboard vessels seized by the United States on the high seas were successfully repatriated. Last week, Pakistan reached out to Singaporean authorities for their support in facilitating the welfare and repatriation of the crew members. Dar noted that the vessels were near Singaporean waters at the time.
Washington, D.C., it is a question that reaches a fever pitch this time of year for Palestinian survivors and rights advocates. Can the United States government create just policy in the Middle East without a full accounting or recognition of Palestinian history? Thursday marks the annual day of remembrance for the Nakba, a period that began in 1948 with the mass expulsion of Palestinians and the creation of the State of Israel.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says his government received messages from President Donald Trump's administration indicating it is open for new talks to end the war in the region, but distrust remains in Tehran about US intentions. He said there also remains deadlock on the question of Iran's enriched material, with the issue of Tehran's nuclear program likely to be postponed until the later stages of future talks.
Clashes that erupted after a football match in a western Libyan town left several people injured, while a government building was set on fire in the capital, Tripoli. Fights began in the town of Tahuna, some 80 kilometers, 49 miles south of the capital, after a match between Tripoli's Al-Ittihad SCSC and Misrata's Aswali SC on Thursday.
London, United Kingdom, Britain's next political battleground could be shaped by a generation of young Muslim voters coming of age faster than Westminster realises. A new report by the Muslim Council of Britain released this week found Muslims make up 6.5% of the population of England and Wales, with a median age of just 13 years younger than the national average. Nearly half are under 25, meaning British Muslims are one of the youngest and fastest growing groups in the country.
Pep Guardiola insists Manchester City have had a successful season, whether or not they win the Premier League title or the FA Cup final against Chelsea on Saturday. Guardiola's side will put their attempt to catch Premier League leaders Arsenal on hold as they head to Wembley for a fourth successive FA Cup final appearance.
A draft proposal was tabled in the Iranian parliament this week to award $50 million to anyone who carries out a fatal attack against US President Donald Trump. Iranian state media reported Chairman of Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee, Ebrahim Azizi, said lawmakers have prepared multiple legislative proposals following recent retaliatory tensions, including measures focused on retaliatory security actions. The Senate Standing Committee on Finance has sharply criticised Federal Board of Revenue, FBR, officials over the auction of seized dry milk, allegedly worth $54.4 million for only ears, $20 million, while demanding a detailed report within 1 week. During the committee meeting, lawmakers irregularities in the seized goods and possible irregularities in the auction process.
Lahore. Responding to traders' protests and appeals by the Shopping Malls Association and general public to revise 8 p.m. business closure timings, the Punjab government has granted partial relief and lifted the restriction on market timings until June Fun, the implementation and coordination wing of the Services and General Administration Department, S&JD. The Punjab government on Friday notified that all the shops, markets, shopping malls, hotels, restaurants and food outlets are exempted from the prescribed closure timings till June 1, 2026.
A rodent-borne virus with a scary name. A mid-ocean cruise ship in quarantine. Several people dead and more falling sick. It is no wonder that an outbreak of the Andes strain of hantavirus on a luxury liner in the Atlantic has revived some COVID-era trauma and panic online.
An attack on a security compound in northwest Pakistan has killed several paramilitary officers, with the Afghan-based Pakistan Taliban (TTP) claiming responsibility. An armed group rammed a vehicle filled with explosives into the Bajar district camp's gate on Thursday and then launched a gun battle, security sources said. It was the latest in a string of deadly incidents in the border region that threatened the fragile ceasefire between Islamabad and Kabul.
Cristiano Ronaldo is 41, but Portugal coach Roberto Martinez said age is only a number and that his captain is judged on current form and by the same standards as everyone else. Ronaldo could play in a 6th World Cup, with this year's tournament in North America set to begin in less than a month. A staggering possibility even for a player who has twisted football's record books into new shapes.
The Philippines has pledged to cooperate with a request from the International Criminal Court, ICC, to detain a prominent politician who evaded arrest earlier this week as he fled the Senate building despite efforts by the army to arrest him and reports of gunfire. Justice Secretary Frederick Vida said on Friday that Manila had received the court's arrest warrant for Senator Ronald Barto Dela Rosa, the country's former national police chief, and considers it valid.
United States President Donald Trump left China on Friday following a two-day summit with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. While Washington touts wins in terms of bilateral trade agreements, Beijing has warned the US against overstepping on the issue of Taiwan and stated that the US-Israel war on Iran should have never started. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's administration is embroiled in turmoil amid a calamitous local election result for the Labour Party last week. Starmer, who has been dogged by controversy over the appointment of Jeffrey Epstein associate Peter Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to Washington, as well as frustrations with slow-moving domestic policy changes, has so far refused calls to resign.
Want to make money? Start building data centers, or build batteries to power data centers, or pivot to defense. This is not financial advice, but it's certainly what seems to be winning over public markets and private investors lately. Ford's nascent energy storage business, a fraction in size to Tesla's and won't be ready until next year, helped its stock jump more than it has in years. Redwood Materials raised $425 million from blue-chip companies like Google and Nvidia by pivoting to data center energy storage. Cerebra's just pulled off one of the hottest IPOs of 2026. AI video generation startup Runway doesn't have the typical Silicon Valley pedigree. No Stanford founders, no ex-Google founders, no nine-figure seed round that bought them time to ignore revenue. It's three founders, two from Chile, one from Greece, met at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts and built the company in New York. Runway also could be, depending on who you ask, one of the most consequential AI companies today. Not because of what it has built, but because of what it is trying to build next.
Notorious drug dealer Anmol, aka Pinky, has made explosive claims during an ongoing investigation in Karachi, alleging that her narcotics network supplied cocaine to hundreds of clients, including from the investigation industries. According to investigation sources, the accused told investigators that the network had around 800 clients, including 100 to 8 basis, who were supplied drugs, 50 regular canons who were supplied on a consistent basis.
The Punjab government has exempted shops, markets, shopping malls, hotels, restaurants and food outlets across the province from prescribed closure timings until June 1, 2026. According to a notification issued by the Services and General Administration Department, S&GAD, the decision was taken in continuation of an earlier notification issued on April 6, 2026.
Lahore Electric Supply Company, LESCO, has uncovered a new method of electricity theft involving the use of remote control devices to manipulate power meters. According to a statement issued by LESCO's spokesperson, the operation was carried out on the directions of Chief Executive Engineer Mohammad Ramzan Butt as part of the company's ongoing crackdown on power theft.
France manager Didier Deschamps has named a star-studded 26-man squad for this summer's World Cup, with Kylian Mbappe and reigning Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembélé leading an exciting attacking lineup. Mbappe, who has scored 56 goals for France, sits second on the country's all-time scoring list, just behind Olivier Giroud, who has 57.
Pakistan national football team captain Abdullah Iqbal has added another major trophy to his career after Mjällby AIF defeated Hammarby IF 2-1 to win the 2026 Svenska Cupen Swedish Cup. The final was played at Strawberry Arena in Solna, where Mjällby secured their first ever title win. The match was watched by 39,903 spectators, breaking an 82-year-old attendance record for a Svenska Cupen final. With the victory, Mjällby also became the 20th club to lift the trophy.
The International Cricket Council, ICC, on Friday fined Pakistan 40% of their match fee and docked them 8 points in the ongoing World Test Championship, WTC, for maintaining a slow over rate during the first test against Bangladesh. In a press release, the ICC said, Pakistan have been fined 40% of their match fee and penalised 8 points in the ongoing WTC 2025-27 cycle after being ruled 8 overs short of the target once time allowances were taken into account.